Hi guys. So today, wanted to something a little bit different. I was just looking into the stats just now on it's November, and Movember is a big thing. People will grow moustaches and all the rest of it. No, I just touched my face there, but there you go. Um, and there's lots of events going on, and there's lots of different causes within Movember. But the one I wanted to focus on is men's suicide, generally speaking. And the stats, according to Movember, are that literally every minute of the day, someone effectively kills themselves via suicide. And on top of that, that men make up 69% of all suicides that occur. And I wanted to kind of segue this into something more positive, which is I finished a podcast that I was interviewed on the other day rather, and I finished with this, and it stems from a conversation that I had with a really, really good friend of mine earlier in the week. The person knows who they are. They literally called me up and said, "Hey, buddy, just wanted to say I'm so proud of what you've achieved this year, both in the business sense and personal sense." And this is someone that doesn't normally call, right? And certainly, it just came out of the blue. It was midday. It came out of the blue. Pick up the phone and I'm like, "Wow, it's amazing. Like, what led you to say that?" And we had a bit of a conversation. Point I raised then on this podcast was often we hear that, okay, you got something that's, bugging at you, that's it's an issue, call someone, problem shares a problem halved and all that kind of thing. I actually think we need to think of the other way around also, which is you yourself, why don't you just call friends and family and just check in? How you doing? What's going on? Not check in because there's any concern about the person, but just to check in and say hello. You never know. That might just be the thing that person needs that particular day to let off a bit of steam, to just have a conversation, to get themselves to see a different perspective, or just a general conversation. It doesn't have to be so kind of dramatic that it's a life and death situation. But I do think that, as we all know, the more we talk about general life, we're not talking about things don't become as severe when we share what's going on. In fact, some weeks ago in the watch business, there was a situation which was pretty hairy, to be honest with you. And I called one of my buddies and I was very honest. I said, "This is what's going on, this. And he said, "Why don't you do this?" And I hadn't even thought of it. It was just an obvious thing to do, an obvious action to take to make the situation, to solve the situation rather. And that was because I was open and honest with the other person, shared what my issue was, not for him to solve the issue, but just to get it off my chest. And that's something that I've learned that often is they're like just calling someone, as I say, both sides this works. So calling someone and saying, "Hey, I've had a bit of a shitty day. This is what's gone on." And even just that conversation can make things feel much, much lighter rather than going to bed and wake up the next day and you haven't really processed it, because just the conversation that you're having with the other person helps you to process it, even if that person is simply listening and not actually providing any kind of different point of view or analysis. However, I want to focus on the other side of this, which is just call a buddy. It's 5 minutes. Stop scrolling on Instagram. Stop doing whatever you're doing. Just make that quick phone call, even a WhatsApp message, but a phone call's better. If you can't do a phone call, a WhatsApp voice note is probably better than a WhatsApp message. "Hey buddy, not spoken to you in a while. Hope all is well." And that's it. Sometimes that's all it is, that little acknowledgement. "I've been thinking about you. Hope everything's good." And as I say, you never know what wider implication that can have. But more importantly, it's just nice to be nice. Thanks, guys, and see you again.